Kanye West. When I say that name, I feel like everyone cringes just a little bit. So as you guys know, the past couple months with Kanye West have kind of been a circus. I hate saying that. I hate thinking about it. I just hate his name coming up when it comes to negativity. But especially after the actions of me personally as a fan, I'm a little confused. Been a fan of Kanye West since the very beginning. The College Dropout was one of my favorite albums, and it still is. The reason why I became a fan of Kanye is because of his confidence, because of his swagger. Him and Cameron made it cool to wear pink. He made it cool to wear loafers and rap. You know what I mean? He kind of crossed these two lifestyles that you never thought would cross. And I just loved everything that he kind of stood for. And as you guys know, he hasn't had the best rap throughout his career. I love the fact that he was portrayed as a villain. I'm always kind of the fan of the villains. Even during some of the most craziest antics of his life, I have been behind him and I stood by his criticism, his opinion, and what he thought was great. It's very hard to be a fan of someone, especially as controversial as Kanye West, because when you're a fan of that person, people automatically come to you and ask you questions when that person is doing bad. But I was always the one to defend them. I was always the one to be like, you need to hear him out, you need to understand why he said what he said, or you need to understand why he said that he should have won Album of the Year. You should understand why he said that Beyonce had the best video of all time. I stood by him when basically society and America turned their backs on him and made him the enemy when he did what he did 10 years ago that people still talk about to this day. I still defend him to this day because I agree with him when he says certain things. But I feel like it's kind of difficult to be on Kanye West's side these days. Now, when he went through his meltdown in California on the St. Paulo tour, I defended him. I am one of those people that I completely understand, especially as a creative person, that depression, anxiety, these things get to you as a creative person. And at the end of the day, we have to understand that Kanye went through, he started out his career traumatically. He was recording his first album with his jaw wired shut. He was in a near fatal car accident before even breaking into the business. Then he rises to stardom and he loses his mother. Then of course the robbery that happens with Kim in France. And I feel like that's what kind of pushed him over the edge. So you have to go in the mindset that all these things are happening to you, and there's basically, who do you cry out for help? Was it wrong what he did? Absolutely. If I was there, I would be very upset. I got the chance to go to the St. Pablo tour when it came to New York, and it was one of the best experiences of my life, so I can just imagine how fans reacted when it was their turn to go see him and he only performed for 15 minutes. But then Kanye got help and checked himself into a medical facility and he went to get better. That personally, as a fan, made me really happy. I feel like a lot of people suffer from depression, a lot of people suffer from these things and keep it very closed. So for him to step out and say that he is getting help was a really great thing to see. What was skeptical to me was the fact that he left so soon. I see pictures on Instagram of Kanye that he's back and he's, you know, sporting blonde hair and a blonde beard and blonde eyebrows. We always know Kanye of being kind of confrontational when it comes to politics, when it comes to certain issues. Obviously, he said George Bush doesn't care about black people, so you never know what is going to come out of his mouth. We see Kanye meeting with Donald Trump and everybody went ballistic. I don't know if anything needs defending here. Everyone's kind of entitled to their own opinions. It kind of hurts though, because you saw in the beginning of his career how much of a radical he was and the things that he would say, and now you kind of see him quiet, not saying much of anything, but standing next to this person that total opposite of what you used to stand for. And it just didn't feel right. It's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like when you have your jeans get wet in the rain. Maybe there's a method to his madness. I personally feel like there's a method to his madness. I feel like there's a reason he did what he did. Supposedly they talked about bullying and about the crisis of all the murders and the crime in Chicago, the pay of teachers, which is amazing. I mean, at the end of the day, he wants to know what we all want to know, what we're gonna get for the next 4 years. But in the way that he did it, it just came out very iffy. But it can get a little hard to stand by Kanye when he does certain things like this, especially when the world is in such turmoil. So at the end of it all, am I still a Kanye fan? Yes. Will I stand by everything he says? No. Everyone's gonna have their own opinion on things. But he does have some explaining to do when it comes to the situation. And I just hope that he gives his fans that at least, because I feel like we've been behind him for so long. At least we'll deserve that.